Greetings, Opals users. In this tutorial, I'd like to introduce you to the bibliographic / MARC record in Opals, as well as the holdings record in Opals. I'd like to show you some very important fields in the bibliographic / MARC record that can make your catalog more robust, and I'd also like to show you some subfields, etc. in the holdings record that you can use to your benefit, such as if you have a fund that you can use for purchasing items for the library and you'd like to record that fund or donations and things like that, there's places in the holdings record where you can do that. Before I go any further, I'd like to mention that there is another clip on our YouTube station called MARC Resources on the Net to Assist with Cataloging. This other clip on MARC Resources will introduce you to the Library of Congress and how you can look up tags and get examples MARC fields such as the 245 title field, the 505 contents note field, the 520 summary notes. And there's another link also on the clip that introduces you to the same thing. They're just worded a bit differently. So I suggest you take advantage of that clip so you can learn about MARC tags, subfields, etc. And they will help you, again, to make your catalog more robust. The first thing I'd like to show you is under the Items tab, we have the MARC Editor. And the MARC Editor is used if you can't find a MARC record in Z-import. This often happens with locally published books, pamphlets, and the like, where there's no MARC record yet, or there never will be, depending on how much the local publications branch out. So you may find yourself with a local publication or an item that you can't find in Z-import, and you would use the book template. And you can change the template to your needs. I should mention, and this is very important, the empty template here is a template that is the gateway for your Z-import records. Please don't ever rename, renumber, or delete the empty template. Again, as I noted, that is the gateway through which your Z-import records go. There is some availability to edit the holdings record, but I highly recommend you get a hold of our tech support. Email us at opalsupport.info.net or get a hold of any of our tech support, and they can guide you through working with the holdings portion of the empty record. And then you have the book record. So I'd just like to show you one quick thing about the book record. I'm going to click this and I'm going to hit or click Edit Template. So this is your book template. And you'll see that it's got your ISBN number, the main entry for the name of the author of the book, the title, and then it goes to the 300 and right to the 650. I'm just going to point out a few fields, and I'll get into these a bit more in the clip. Let's say that you wanted to add a general note. You could go click Add Data Field. 500 is called a general note, and the resources on the other clip will tell you what it's about, what you can do with a general note. I won't get into that now. Now I'm going to add another data field to my template, the 504A, subfield A. These are subfields, and that's the bibliography note and or index note that the book may contain. Now I'd like to add another one to my template so I don't have to do this in the future. So I'm just going to put my cursor here, click Add Data Field, and I'm going to click the 505, or I'm going to enter in the 505 subfield A, and this is the contents note. Short stories within a book, you can put them in the contents note and they're searchable, poems, etc. I'll show you a little bit more about that in the clip. And now maybe I'd like to add another field, the 520. So I'm going to add data field, 520, subfield A, and we'll talk about subfields a bit. And that's the summary, which can make your catalog quite robust because as you put a summary note in, all the words in that summary are indexed. So if someone looks up, let's say you have a summary, this is a book about a little girl who grew up on a banana farm. Well, you would have girl, banana, farm, little, those words would be indexed. So if a teacher wanted a book about farms, or one of your patrons at your church, you have a summary that talks about the church or this or that, those books are indexed, again, which makes your catalog far more robust. And finally, I'm going to put in another 500 field, the 586 tag, which is award notes. And you'll see that we have a bunch of award notes already there for you, so you can just click these. Please note that if you do use the 586 and you know of an awards note that we don't have here, please email us, and I'll give that at the end of the clip. Your awards note may be for your state, your area, whatever, and we will add it to the list. I'm now going to drop below the 650s, and you'll see two of them. And oftentimes folks like to add an additional subject field, a local subject field, 690. That's not Library of Congress authorized or anything. It's what you would like to do. I always say a good cataloger is one who thinks like the people who walk through the doors of the library. So for example, if I have a book on automobiles, and I'm in an elementary, say K through 5 or K through 4 school, the students might be more likely to search cars. And you might also see, if you get the record off Z-Import, automobiles, etc., and if it doesn't show cars and you think your children or someone maybe in your church library would search for it in another way, you can go in the 690 and type in whatever you like. And you can have multiple 690s, etc. So that's a nice field to have. So once again, I'm going to save this, and the order is 2. It's the books. And I always like to do this. Books. Just to tell myself that I've edited this and I've added additional fields, so the template will always have these. So there we go. I'm going to go back up to Item tab, and I'm going down to the MARC editor, and you'll see that the title of books has changed. Book, edited with additional fields. Once again, remember not to touch, delete, or rename the empty template. In this section of the clip, I would like to give you examples of very good MARC records. And what I did was I searched for them, and you'll see I put a click mark in the end of fossil fuel. And you'll see once you search for titles, barcodes, whatever subjects, you can click here and it will bring up, you can do a bibliography. There's a clip on YouTube on bibliographies. I'm going to use this for ease of recording. I'm going to click the edit button. And by the way, if you have a few books that you just need to add a certain note of the same, you can use the edit button and you can edit the 6 records one after the other. So maybe a global modify isn't worth it for just 1 or 2 or 3 or 5, 6 records, whatever. You can click edit. So I'm going to use this for the clip, but I won't be editing. So I'm going to click edit. And the first record comes up. The end of fossil energy. And the reason I brought this up is just to show you a few fields. There's the ISBN number, the publisher, the author, the title, the statement of responsibility. And as I go down this, MARC, or the bib record / MARC, the library that cataloged this, and this is where you have to be careful when you bring in Z-Import records, they put a 500 note. You will find this book on the green cougar shelf. Well, if you don't have, and you probably don't have a green cougar shelf, you would just take that off and the 500 note goes away. This is a very good note. The formatted contents note. Energy crisis overview, space, dash, dash, space. You have to do those in this field, and you can look that up on my Internet Resources clip. And basically, these are the chapters in the book on energy crisis. This could just as well be a book on the greatest poems of 2021, where each poem is listed here, space, dash, dash, the next poem, and or short stories. So the formatted content note, if I know of a poem that might be in that book, the 25 greatest poems of 2021, I could search for the poem, and because I have it in the 505 note, it'll come up. So that's very helpful. Now, kind of on a funny note, librarians have asked me over the years, what if it's the 1,000 best poems of all time? What do you do? Well, to type in 1,000 poems or short stories and the like, that might be a bit much, and you have to look at your resources and would it be advantageous. Many librarians tell me they put in the most popular ones that are more likely to be searched. So if there's 1,000, they wouldn't put all 1,000 in. That would be quite over the top a bit, but they would pick the most popular so they could be searched in the OPAC search. Here's a 520, One Man's Look at the Energy Crisis and a Plan for the Future. These can be very long. This is a short one. And here's some 650s. Library of Congress, subject to conservation of natural resources, energy consumption, energy policy, petroleum as fuel, renewable energy sources, solar energy, and the like. So this is quite a robust record for your catalog. Okay, so I'm going to go to the top, and I am going to move to the next record just a moment. Because I didn't edit anything in the record, I'm just going to click Save, and you'll see it gives me the opportunity to go to the next record. There's nothing changed, edit the next record, and I'm just using this for the recording, but you could change 6 records and add additional information to each one. Now this is 101 quantum questions, and I chose this to show you 2 fields that are very useful, especially the second one. Now you'll see there's the author. You'll see 101 quantum questions, what you need to know about the world you can't see. Now a patron may search with the 101, but another patron might type it out. So this 246 tag with subfield 3 right here, which is an added entry note, this will give you the other version of the title, and you never know how your patrons of your library may search numbered titles. Let's have a look at the rest of this record, and there's a formatted contents note. There's 510s with different places that the book was referenced, Publishers Weekly, Wilson's. Here's a 520. Very nice 520 telling you what's a quantum. All these words are indexed as subjects. And then we see another Follett library resource for target audience note. I'll leave that alone for the time being. And then we see a bunch of 650s. So this is another robust record. I'm going to click Save. Nothing has changed. Edit the next record. And this record is 101 questions. I'm just doing it twice on the numbers just to show you again the 245 field versus the 246. So here's 101 questions in the 245, so that's must be, we saw it on the cover, but again, you might have a patron that'll search 101 spelled out. I'm going to hit Save, edit the next record, and I'm pulling up this record. I'm going to just page down a little bit, and we see the 082. This is important. I'm just going to point this out. You don't want FIC in those square brackets. And also, when you go look at the holding records for this item, it might show the FIC in square brackets, and actually in your library you use FIC in all caps. So I'll show you that in a moment. But here's the language of thorns. There's a 246. Somebody put in thorns for whatever reason as an alternate varying form of the title. And if we go down a bit, there's the 505, which is showing different chapters in the book. And if we go down a little bit farther, a collection of 6 short stories, i.e. when I was up here, those aren't chapters really, they're the short stories. And this 520 field tells you that. So if someone looks up hungry, woods, beasts, talking, gingerbread, golems, magical lands, whatever, they'll find this book. I'm going to click Save, edit the next record. And these are examples that will show you what a good, robust record should look like to make your catalog more useful. I'm going down, there's a 505. Okay, and this is Make Something Up, Stories You Can't Unread. And here are the stories in the formatted contents. Here's a very nice summary note. and you can look up all these words, and again it'll show in your catalog, and there's the 650s. This clip has gotten a little long, and I just wanted you to know, I'll do a little review of what we covered. We covered the MARC editor. We looked at various records that are quite robust. We looked at a few fields. I explained a few fields. I will have a part 2 that'll be a sister video of this on actually an empty record and going through and pointing out the various tags and subfields. And by the way, the resources on the net video tutorial will also help you with the tags. So I may mention a tag or two and you can go look it up there. If you need assistance, email support@opalsinfo.net, or you can call tech support at 877-331-1022. And please remember that there will be a sister clip that goes along with this on the bib record and holdings record in MARC or in Opals Part 2. Thank you.